Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Heat Spammer. That's Heat Spammer, and he's driving the Object 140 on a confrontation battle on the northwest. So this one is Germans versus the Russians. As you can see, Germans have a large concentration of heavy and tank destroyers. And the Russians have a large concentration of medium tanks. So you can imagine what tactics the Allied team should be employing in this battle. And if you can see this little wolf pack here, it looks like they are pretty much all on the same page. So sit back and relax, and this is going to be one hell of a replay. So as you can see, the pack here all heading over to the 1-2 line. Going to get to these train lines, see who they can find out. Got a good pack of tier 10 mediums here, the T62As and the Object 140s. And as you can see, the enemy E50M was way out of position. Him being one of the only medium tanks that the Allied team has, he really shouldn't be this far in front all by himself. As you can see, the pack closing in around him. There isn't really going to be much he can do. Everybody getting shots at him here, keeping him tracked and just swarming around him. And this is going to be all she wrote for the E50-M. But at least his sacrifice is not in vain. The enemy team should now know where pretty much everybody is. Well, not everybody, but they know where the Wolfpack is. For some reason, though, this Jagdpanzer E100, after getting that information, has still decided to continue driving forward. Not got the gun elevation there. Just keep on target. Does have a shot at the drive wheel in an attempt to keep him tracked. But again, I'm not really sure why he continued to drive forward after getting the information from the E50M that the entire enemy division of medium tanks was in this area. Maybe thought that his allies would be able to offer some support. Unfortunately, there's a lot more medium tanks here than there are heavy tanks and tank destroyers. That T-54 just going full on in the face of everybody, driving forward, offering some different targets, trying to get around the sides and the back of this E75 as the gun on the T-54 isn't the best in the world. Find a Waffenträger E100 in the back there, another E75 halfway down the ridge, and this guy's in trouble. As you can see, the medium tank's moving up. Our guy Heat Spammer here leading the charge, gets a good hit on that Waffenträger, takes one in return, probably going to take a couple more, not sure how many shots this guy has, does get tracked, but is able to get a good bit of damage back in return. I'm just going to wait for these tracks to repair themselves. Looks like that E75 has... No, he hasn't been taken out. He's still alive down in the ditch. It was able to back off. I think he took out the T-54. No, he hasn't. The Allied team still hasn't lost a single tank. So doing a great job of just overrunning the enemy. Taking out another Waffenträger, and now going to come around the back of these E75s. This is the way that the confrontation battles go. I'm not really sure I want to be the Germans in this situation, considering the amount of medium tanks that the Russians have put on the field here, and just absolutely overran this flank with very, very little opposition. Well, there was plenty of opposition, but they were definitely not prepared, as Illidan would say. You are not prepared for the overwhelming rush and the surge of medium tanks. Hope that T-54 isn't going to try and complete his cap, because they've got this game absolutely in the bag here. The enemy team only got those forces in the far south there on that bottom road, and all of the mediums here just closing in around them. You can see the pack, well, it doesn't split. Most of the pack heads north there, while Heat Spammer himself comes down to help this ST1 with the Jagdpanzer E100, who's got his back to them. So this is just going to be bad news all day for him. Tries to take a shot on the drive wheel there, but not quite able to take out his track. Going to take his time on the second one though, because the E100's just focusing all of his attention on that ST1. Uses his repair kit. Unfortunately, the reload on this Object 140 is significantly, well, definitely quick enough to be able to just keep this guy tracked here and just do damage over and over again. He was able, as he got tracked there on the second time, he did do a little spin to the left, so he was able to take out that ST1, so at least there's a consolation prize for him. And then that just leaves a couple of E75s, an E100 and a Leopard 1 in this south. The Allies got to move in quickly. as the rest of the Allied team, that IS-8 and that IS-7 is the only thing standing between them and the base. Not that even if they killed them, they will be able to get to the base, but now you can just see they're all descending like flies and just going to swarm around these guys and try and deal with them. That Leopard 1's probably going to get himself taken out here, and as you can see, the medium Wolfpack moving in. Everybody has a shot at this Leopard 1 here. Heat Spammer himself gets a good bit of damage onto him, backs off because he doesn't want to take any damage. Not wanting to die. He's had a pretty good run so far. In fact, all the mediums have had a pretty good run. And now just going to come down. As you can see, the heavies are battling tanks from the front and tanks from the rear, and there's really nothing they can do here. This E100 going to be trying to do something to somebody. Unfortunately, he's spoilt for choice with targets here. As soon as he focuses on one, they just carousel around him, and there's nothing really he can do, and he gets himself taken out as well, and that just leaves the couple of E75s. I mean, the best they can do here is just stand back to back and do as much damage as they can to as many people as they can, and as it is, that is exactly what they are doing, but not covering off each other's backs, so they're just going to get shots through each other's rear armor here. Heat Spammer picks up kill number 3, and there's just one E75 left, and he gets taken out too, and that is GG and the victory. So that was an absolute overrun there from the Russian side there. Heat Spammer picking himself up 3 kills and almost 5,000 points of damage with that awesome medium tank Wolfpack going on there. So absolutely awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Stick around because as always the score screens and another game are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Epic Rabbit 95. That's Epic Rabbit 95, and he's driving the Leopard 1 on a standard battle on the Abbey. Leopard 1 being a tier 10 medium tank for the Germans. I know we showed a Leopard 1 recently, but this one goes with the theme of the video, as you'll understand from watching the first one, so I decided to bring you this one as well. So Epic Rabbit going to be heading to the left-hand flank, as you do as a medium tank, going to be taken to the hills. Before we get into the battle, I do just want to apologise if I sound like crap. That's because I feel like crap. Got a cold at the moment, so I'm a bit sniffly, a bit congested, and may not sound my usual snappy self. So anyway, onto this replay. Going to be heading over here with the rest of his medium tank friends. He's got a Batchat Lorraine 40 in front of him, a Lorraine 40 and an Object 140 behind him. I'm going to be taking an interesting spot here, and probably quite good if he was here by himself, but because he's got so many medium tanks in front of him, probably not going to prove to be the best spot to camp in. Everybody just jostling for position to try and get a shot on this T-54 here, but it looks like nobody really able to get him. This AMX-12T is going to take a beating though, and he gets himself taken out, but not quite able to get any hits on the T-54 just yet. His platoon mate, the Object 140, is getting punched in the face by this IS-7 at the moment, so Epic Rabbit going to go and offer him some support. Looks like the enemy team has neglected this flank almost entirely. Although they have got a couple of tier 10 heavy tanks here. They've got the IS-7 and the AMX-50B, but it looks like the majority of them are actually going into that Abbey for some reason. And because they've got all the mediums on this ridge here, they're all just going to be able to pour fire into them. But that does mean that the two platoon mates here are going to have to try and deal with these two heavy tanks here, because if they don't deal with them, that IS-7 and that 50B is going to take them by surprise from the flank and just be able to wreak havoc. Also finds a Batchat here. Doesn't give him the opportunity to have more than one shot, so just confounding his ability to pile damage into people with that auto-loader. If you back off out of sight every time you have a shot, that just means that his auto-loader counts for nothing. So the two of them doing a good job here of just holding the enemy back. That IS-7 has managed to slip through though, and as you can see, the medium tanks are already falling back. And there's probably something to do with the push that's coming through the centre as well, although the guys on the right-hand flank are doing a very, very good job of pushing all the way down there. As you can see, they've gotten all the way to the northernmost flank, although they've got that Waffenträger and that Object 704 guarding there. So that's going to be a little bit of an impasse. They may end up finding that they just fight each other there for the whole rest of the game. Batchat coming up and going to be dueling with his T-54 here. Not sure if he's got his cannon loaded. That doesn't matter as he gets himself taken out by that 50B. And going to move forward and try and duel with... Try and get another hit on this T-54. Looks like he's playing pretty cagey behind this rock here. Realises... excuse me, that there's more than one tank. So he's playing this one carefully. Leave the AMX 1390 out in front to take the damage. And that T-54 gets away with just 12 hit points remaining. And then the AMX 50B does indeed come around the corner and take out the Lorraine 40-ton, and they're now getting flanked from all sides. That 40-ton trying to duel with the Batchat here and is able to take him out, but now there's an IS-7, and that IS-7 is able to get the Lorraine. If Epic Rabbit can get a good shot on that IS-7, which indeed he does, I think he's got him tracked as well, which he has, and just able to get a couple of good shots into him. Got to be careful here, as the turret traverse and body traverse speed of an IS-7 is pretty good, but he's able just to work his magic around him and able to take out that IS-7 before he's able to land any damage whatsoever on the Leopard 1 of Epic Rabbit here. But we do know that there's an AMX 50B and a T-54 somewhere around here. This T-54 will only be on 12 hit points. I'm not 100% sure what the AMX 50B is on. It says he's only on 189, so both of these are a one-shot. Finds the 50B, takes out the 50B, and that was an excellent shot there. Still got to find this T-54. He's going to be somewhere around here. I would have thought that he'd be down this road as well, probably making an effort to try and flank around the back of the Leopard 1 here. It looks like there is now a mouse on that right-hand flank, so looks like the guys who were able to push all the way up weren't able to hold onto that lead, and it looks like the T-54 has disappeared. Might be on this ridge trying to get shots on their Jagdpanzer E-100. It looks like he's trying to defend off against the guys coming into the town. Even if the T-54 isn't here, there we go, spots out a couple of enemy tanks here. Gets a good hit on the side of that Tortoise there, because the guys who did all rush the Abbey at the centre are now going to be heading into the base. Gets a great hit on that Waffenträger E-100 there, but he's now got to defend himself against this T-54, who is coming charging in as if he's got a lot more hit points than he has. He does get one good hit on the Leopard 1, but then gets himself taken out. To be honest, it would have been better if he could have kind of worked his magic, popping his head up every now and then just to try and spot the Leopard 1, so that his allies coming out from the monastery would have been able to get hits on him. But as it was, he just rushed himself to his death and gets taken out, as does that Tortoise, caught out in the middle of a field and gets himself taken out. And that just leaves, well, there's a WZ-131. Looks like he's managed to sneak his way behind that E-100, and he's now moving down against this Jagdpanzer E-100. But hopefully that should be a duel that he would be able to win, as Epic Rabbit doesn't have time to help him. As you can see, they've got that GW E-100 and this Object 704 on that right-hand flank facing off against the C-100. So if Epic Rabbit can get in behind these guys, going to be able to get some great flank shots on the side of them. As you can see, he's already loaded the HE rounds in case he comes up against that GW E-100. Although there is a Jagdpanzer E-100 of the enemy who was last spotted in the monastery, but to be honest, he's probably not there anymore. He's probably dropped back to base in an effort to defend against this E-100. The allied Jagdpanzer able to take out that WZ finally. Switches back to his regular rounds, as he knows he's probably not going to come up against this E-100, this GW E-100. God, there's a lot of E-100s to talk about here. Probably not going to come up against him first, although he is. And just allows his reticule to close in, and that is kill number 6. So now he's got to be careful, as this is Jagdpanzer E-100. Probably not got the alpha damage to be able to take him out in one hit, but that's still not a hit that you want to take. And that the allied E-100 squaring off against the Object 704 doesn't really want to move, as he doesn't want to get smacked in the face. He's going to wait for their Jagdpanzer E-100 to move up the road, although Epic Rabbit's got to be careful here that the enemy doesn't flank around him, which indeed he is trying to do. He's in a good hold down position here, totally hidden by the contours of the terrain. This E-100's making his way in now. And he's going to make a break for the rocks. is able to get a good hit and take out his track. But it looks like he's used a repair kit. But it looks like his gun has got the reload, but he wasn't sure if he was able to get his gun onto target. So just going to make his way down the rocks here and then just keep this guy pinned down as best he can. The enemy doesn't have any artillery, but he still has to be careful that this Object 704 doesn't come sneak up behind him. Although I think the Object 704 is scared of that E100 heavy tank and doesn't want to make a move. You can see he's kind of jostling around, wanting to come and make a move and help his ally here, but not wanting to get hit by that E100's giant cannon. So he's just going to leave his ally here to get totally worked down. Taken from 100% hit points to 0 hit points, all by Epic Rabbit 95 there, just keeping him tracked and totally taking him out. And that E100 keeping the Object 704 pinned here so that he couldn't sneak up behind him. Epic Rabbit going to maneuver himself out to try and take this guy out. Oh, lures the Object 704 into having his shot. Unfortunately, just bounces that one as the Object 704 has pretty troll armor. What he doesn't have, though, is a quick reload. Offers his lower plate, and he's able to track him so that he can't drown himself, but he goes for the drowning anyway. Gonna take the scumbag way out, but Epic Rabbit's having none of it, and he's able to take him out and pick up kill number 8 and over 7,000 points of damage. So absolutely awesome replay there from Epic Rabbit 95, showing off the versatility of the Leopard 1 there. So awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, then please send that in to replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a like or favourite and stick a comment in the comment section below. Let me know exactly what you thought, and if you're not already, then please consider hitting that subscribe button for more content like this in the future. I have been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.